Welcome back to Community Matters. Our final guest today is Mac Cady. He's the founder of Cafe de los Muertos in downtown Raleigh. Welcome, Mac. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? I like coffee, so you're right. I'm glad to have you here. First of all, you know what I'm going to ask you, and I know you probably get this question a lot, as we said. Cafe de los Muertos. My high school Spanish tells me that means something to do with death. Cafe of death or coffee of death. Am I correct?
We can go either way, like cafe or coffee.
Mm-hmm. Why that?
Well, it's a play off Day of the Dead, the Day of the Dead festival, and I chose it for a lot of reasons. I was living out in California and inundated with Latino culture, and was also roasting at the time, and found myself roasting beans from that region, Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, just by default. That's where
those are the
my
places,
taste was. Yeah, I mean, coffee comes from all over the world, but I personally was enjoying it just as a side note almost. And I was writing the business plan. I didn't really have a theme going. I just knew I wanted to roast in-house. I wanted to support other local roasters. I was trying to create a community even with the food. But I was there during the festival, the 1st and 2nd of November. And it was such a beautiful procession, and it just surrounded you, you know. And there's so much love, and their take on death is such a beautiful way to honor those that have passed, that it all kind of came to fruition. I saw the whole business plan was surrounded by skulls and death.
Well, you know, and I do know, I am familiar with what you're talking about. I think I was telling you earlier, I saw a movie, Frida, which was about Frida Kahlo, and they had the Day of the Dead in the movie, and at the time, which was years ago, Salma Hayek. And I said, what is this? And since then, I've had friends who are from Mexico who, you know, have participated and have told me about it. So when I saw that, I said, but I wasn't sure. I had to ask. Do you get that question all the time?
Yes. Well, Frida is actually a huge. I have a beautiful Frida painting that I had a woman from San Diego do for us. But she is really embraced by that specific holiday. I think it was part of her spirit.
True. And she also had a very, we're digressing for a second, but she also had a brush with death when she was younger.
Yes.
Something that has a lot to do with it.
Yes.
But let's get back to the coffee now, because you were in San Diego, you're here now, you're brewing downtown at the U building in downtown Raleigh, new building. You guys are a baby. Everybody else is 4 and 5 years old. You're only 5 months.
I hear middle-aged kids, the high school, whatever. I'm like a red-faced spit-up baby. I don't know. That's really mad and angry.
Well, it's a new business. What's that like? You know, especially being in downtown Raleigh, being a new kid on the block, literally.
It's overwhelming. It is, and people kept saying, well, it's going to be really difficult for you, and you need to realize, you know, what you're up against. And I'm just an optimist. Oh, I'll figure it out. It's just another challenge, and it was harder than I thought it was going to be.
Well, you're going up against some big competition. You've got national chains. You've got some others, maybe smaller chains. We don't want to mention your names, you know, we're talking about you now. So, but you know, has that been an issue? Have people been making comparisons?
Oh, there's always comparisons, but that's a good thing for me. I think from the get-go, my plan wasn't to compete with them. It was just to offer something different. You know, I carry Oak City roasting coffee. I carry Raleigh Coffee Company, and I roast myself. So there's 3 local guys. The other 2 guys don't even have a storefront per se. So they use the cafe as a place to kind of launch new beans or things they want to introduce to people. So I'm capturing fans of their coffee or fans of what they're doing into the cafe.
Wow. So you're actually, again, helping the local economy. Either you're a local merchant, you're helping other local
I
merchants.
benefit by default, you know. It's the same thing with our food. We get food from one of our main suppliers, JP's Cupcakery. He has his ag certificate out of his house. He's got basically a commercial kitchen in his house, and he's primarily gluten-free.
Oh, wow.
But it's amazing stuff. We don't even have to advertise it as gluten-free because we don't want to scare people off. But he wouldn't necessarily have a place to show off his goods, you know, if not for the cafe. I mean, he eventually would do whatever. I'm not taking credit for it.
But you're helping him, and that's what my understanding is with a lot of the local merchants. It's you know just like what Sean said, you know, they help each other out in the beer industry, and you know are doing the same thing.
If I call Raleigh Coffee Company, if I call Joe, or if I call Bill from Oak City, and I say we're low on beans, I haven't been able to roast, Bill is literally right over the railroad tracks from me, and he will walk over with beans for me, and I don't have to worry anymore.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's a. I
They
tell
won't
people-
do that at the place with the maiden in the label,
No,
the logo.
no, they won't. No, it's that's what the difference is, and that's been when people ask like, how's it been? How was the process? The one thing that I truly have learned and appreciated is the amount of support that I've gotten from other local businesses. During this whole process, it was a 2-month build that turned into 10 months. And during that time, people would come in and say, hey, I'm down the street from you if you ever need any help. And it wasn't just to say it was actually, they meant it, and I actually took a lot of people up on it and got a lot of advice, and a lot of small business owners come into the cafe, and we sit at the bar and talk about, our problems dealing with the city. But it really is a very tight-knit group of people that take on. If you're a small business owner, you know every other small business owner I felt like within a month or so. I had met just vicariously by being downtown.
And you guys probably, like you say, maybe to your customers kind of suggest, hey, go over there for something,
Oh yeah,
like that.
oh yeah.
So,
it's a symbiotic relationship. We're all feeding off each other.
Yeah.
And the idea, and talking about earlier about keeping the money in the community, I mean, it truly is that way. I mean, I didn't know the numbers on it, but it doesn't surprise me that buying locally, you're keeping that money locally.
And not to mention in the merchant's pocket, so that's important too, because you guys are trying to make a living, whereas these big franchises have, don't always, they're a lot of times pretty much taken care of because they got the national advertising and all of that. But again, I want to let people know it's down at the U Building downtown. Let us know how we can get in touch with you.
Just come to 300 West Target Street. We have a website, cafemuertos.com. We're on Twitter, Instagram as Cafe Muertos, Facebook.
Muertos.
Yes.
I remember that. The folks, not everybody knows.
We're right next door to Cirque du Vol Studios.
Yeah. And you can see circus stuff and all that fun stuff with your coffee. I'll tell you. Well, I'm going to come down there and get some of that locally roasted stuff that you have. And Mac Cady, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Cafe de Muertos. All right?
Cafe de los Muertos.
Los Muertos, there you go. And we'd like to thank all of our guests for joining us today. We hope you've learned more about the many ways you can shop locally for your goods and services. If you have any questions or you'd like to know more, visit our website at myrdctv.com. I'm Gail Hurd. Thanks for watching Community Matters on MyRDC. We'll see you next time.